live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our very special guest today is Bosque Prep head coach Clifton Davidson. His team won the regular season championship, beating Sandia Prep on Saturday. I can't remember what the score was. I'm getting it right here. Well, heck, I lost it. But anyway, Sandia Prep on Saturday, and you're the district champions. And you beat Sandia Prep 68-40. And you got to go through the district tournament still. But, Coach, congratulations and welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Ed, and thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach, you've had success. I want to talk a little bit about it's anytime you win a championship, it's a grind. And gosh, the season has gone so quick. The seating and selection show on ProView Networks on Sunday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it's hard to believe that it's gone that fast. But, I want to go over a little bit over your, you've been the boys head coach there since 2017, a district regular season district champions this year, a district coach of the year this year, in 2021, I believe. Was it this year? District coach of the year this year. Congratulations
Yeah.
on that. 2020 state champions, 2020 district tournament champions. You've been there. You know what it's like to win.
Yes.
You had some very good teams in 2020, a very good team back then. And talk a little bit about your development there. And you got you work another job, and you just mentioned that to me. And it's you've got flexibility because it's hard. I was just telling you, my son's an attorney. It's hard.
Right.
I don't know how the heck he does what he does with us, and he's got a daughter, and and it's hard. Talk a little bit about the development there at Bosque Prep in a winning culture. Coach Woody beats Pius last night by 1, and it's a winning culture. But you know what? All due respect to Ryan Myers and Pius, right? All due respect, but Coach Woody has developed that culture at Highland, 5 district championships, 5. And you've got to give him a lot of credit. Talk a little bit about the culture you've developed at Bosque Prep.
It's really interesting. It's just one of those things where we work really hard. We understood years ago, taking the job at Bosque, that it wasn't a basketball school. It wasn't a basketball program. Hadn't really had a lot of success. Had only been to, I think, the Final Four once, maybe 10 years before I got there. And so for us, it was important to change that narrative, to build a program that was going to be successful and have opportunities every year to compete for state championships. And that's something that our administration wanted, our athletic directors wanted, and most importantly, our players and our parents really wanted that. So it was up to us as coaches to develop that. And we do that maybe a little bit differently than everybody else, because for us, it's all about family. It's all about bringing these kids in who just love the game and love to play, who maybe have never, ever played the game of basketball before, and just want to play and want to commit. And then we just work hard every single day to teach them the basics, how to dribble, how to shoot, how to pass, because, as I said, some of them have never done it before. And the kids who came before, the kids who won that 2020 championship, were just a really great, dedicated group of kids who wanted it more than I've ever seen anybody else. And they also were super gracious and super amazing to the younger kids, to allow them to develop and to grow. And so we've been able to maintain that for the last 5 years.
I think it's you're developing your own culture there. Marcos Rivera, the former Sandia Prep coach, who I know very well, told me there's challenges in coaching at Sandia Prep, and I'm sure there's the same challenges at Bosque Prep. They've got other interests. Back in the day when I played, it was all basketball, basketball, basketball. And kids these days, they've got, we didn't have these, the games. We had 3 channels. When I tell kids that, we had to get up to change the channel.
Change the channel.
Right. Yep. They look at you, they can't believe it. You're a lot younger than me, but you know what I'm talking about. So when you talk about, Coach, the skills development, Coach Brian Brown's a good friend of mine. I don't know if you know Coach Brown, but Coach Brown is a skills guy. I love Coach Brown. He's a good guy, right? And and he's got the message. So talk a little bit about skills, because when people think they see that Steph Curry shooting 40 feet, that doesn't come without some skills: ball handling, shooting, squaring up to the basket, shooting mechanics, so many things. And you had to build all of that from the ground up and get a buy-in, right? Because some kids are going to look at you like, what is this guy talking about? Not everybody buys in. so they see the results. Talk a little bit about how you built it from the ground up.
Right, and you're mostly dealing with kids who already think they know everything,
Right.
too. Some of them have been playing a little bit, or they watch a lot of NBA and they watch a lot of basketball, and so they think they know a lot. So it's important to every day break down the shooting form, the shooting technique, and to go back over that. We may have guys on our team who are really, really good shooters, and along the way they lose that. You see a kid who's, last year, at least for us, one of them, he's a, 40% 3-point shooter. This year he was around 25 for a good portion of the year. And we had to go back to the mechanics of getting him to go through form shooting every day, go through that at the beginning of practice when he shows up early. Ball handling drills. We do that stuff every single day at practice because it's vital to our success. And unlike a lot of programs, we don't have kids who play year-round basketball. They have other interests in music, in soccer, in tennis. One of our kids has a pickleball scholarship. So
Really?
yeah, so
Yeah,
they're
that's crazy. I thought that was a game for like older people, but good. Keep going. I'm sorry.
no,
You just taught
so
me something here. You
yeah,
just taught
so
me.
it's about balancing all the things that they want to do with also their commitment to playing basketball at a very high level. And at Bosque, as a coach there, I learned early on. I've been there for 12 years at this point, in all different kind of levels, middle school and high school, that they are best when they are encouraged and supported to do all the things that is important to them. You know, I have a son who plays at Bosque now. He's in musicals. And he likes to do plays and wants to be the leading man in all those things. And so we have to balance that out and make sure he's still working on his skills and development at basketball as well. He's also a water polo player. So we're not going to have him for summers for basketball because that's when his water polo season is. And so it's important for those kids to feel that love, that support in all the things that they want to do. And as a coach, I think that's important for all of us and all of our kids now. There was a time, like you said, where it was like basketball all the time. There was nothing else. You couldn't eat, think, or breathe anything else but basketball. But you try to do that with kids these days, and you just get, they're not down for that. They have lots of interest, and so we have to figure out ways to meet them where they are.
You know what, Coach? I love it, man. I love it. You know what? I'm glad your son wants to be in musicals, man. I'm glad he's playing water polo. Good, because I think for me, I remember back in the day, I could have played some football, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But I was a hooper, man. That's all we did. We played outside. That's my knees are all wrecked. We look for Coach Rodriguez, Ray Rodriguez,
Yeah.
a real good friend of mine. We break into Highland, not stealing anything, just to play ball. We're gym rats,
Just to play
man.
ball.
That's it. So now when you tell me that, I love to hear that because COVID. I talked to another coach the other day. It hurt a lot of things. It's a worldwide pandemic, right? It changed everything. Changed the
Yeah.
employment. It changed kids' interests. That's okay. That's
Yep.
okay. I'd love to see your son in a musical, man. I'd love to see that because hey, that's a well-rounded young man. That's good. Explore, right? Go play water polo, and right? I think it's great.
No, I think it's great too, and it's a tough thing for coaches who deal with that. But I also think part of that too has to be, when it is that season for water polo, we don't touch that with basketball. When it's time for basketball, we don't go do water polo, right?
Right.
And so I think the struggle is for a lot of kids who want to do year-round soccer or year-round events. Uh, that may impact their ability to be successful during the basketball season. So for us, we have to make it very clear to all of our players that from October to March, it's all about basketball, and it's not. And then after that, we do all sorts of things. But when it comes to the school stuff, kids who are in choir and they're in musicals, and that sort of stuff, it takes a balance in working with those teachers and making sure that the kids are able to do all that they're supposed to be doing. Because we all know not everybody goes to college to play basketball. Not everybody goes to the NBA. So their interests are gonna be
Mhm.
And their successes are going to be somewhere in other aspects of their life than basketball.
It's something, the message I coached, back in the day. And I used to say that to even the kids when I coached at the AAU level. Hey, what's going to end for most of you? You're not going to go to the NBA or go pro. So have a plan, have a
Right.
backup plan. Basketball, for me, I'm still involved in the game. I'm lucky. I've been able to broadcast now. I can't ref anymore. My knees are wrecked. And that's in 22 years is enough of that anyway, man. It's a young person's game. Let somebody else, take charge of that. That's not the easiest job in the world, right? Fun,
Right.
there's a lot of fun. But you've got a lot of experience too, because you're at the Bosque JV head coach and a varsity assistant, seventh grade coach at Bosque School. You're seventh grade girls coach. You're the sixth grade girls coach at Bosque Prep. Fire Dragons basketball owner and director. So Maggie Cordova, elementary basketball coach. How did all those experiences lead? Again, you're developing. Okay,
Right.
so when I think of Coach Brown, when I use him on my broadcast, that dude, man, that guy knows. That guy says some stuff sometimes, and he's a heck of a guy, right? Great fundamental coach, and
Yeah.
you learn from a guy like that because he respects people, man. He's going to get the best out of you for sure. But all
Exactly.
these things, how did this build you up to be the coach you are now?
And just so many different ways. And I'm not in this by myself. There are coaches that I've worked with and coaches that I've learned from over the years, and players who have taught me so much. I just remember coaching my Fire Dragons club teams and just kind of being this crazy beast man on the sideline, screaming and yelling at these little kids. And I remember having one of the officials one time tell me, hey, you're better than this. These kids respect you, and you need to treat them better than this. And from that, I had to reevaluate and check myself and go, how can I teach and coach and be better than this? Coaching the girls at Bosque was a completely different experience, and a testament to learning patience, and the importance of the fundamentals. Because the boys were so athletic at that young age that you can kind of get away with a lot of things. But with the girls, it was about how do we play into their fundamentals, the basics, their understanding of the game, and answer all the questions that they have about the game of basketball without getting frustrated with them. And then just kind of growing into the development part of that from middle school. And so teaching those kids in middle school learned it and made it very easy, not easy, but made it better for me when I became a high school coach. And when the 2 years that I was a JV assistant coach, I thought I was ready to be a varsity head coach. And I had applied for the head coach job and didn't get it. And I'm glad I did it because I wasn't ready at that time. Sitting behind Charles Ashley on that bench and learning from him, and learning from his father-in-law, Coach Garcia, and
Yes.
those guys that I got to know at that point in time, and kind of watching them do the head coaching thing, and watching Coach Murphy over at Hope once I got into high school, and trying to emulate him and his success that he has over there in a private school program. So I learned so much from those people, and being able to then step into that role as the head coach. 2 years later, I think I was ready for it at that point in time.
Coach, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this year's version of the Bosque Prep team after these messages on the Sports Desk.
Get into the sync on the offense. Here's Renfro.
Renfro throws up a wild one and scores. So turning potential lemons into lemonade is Archuleta. Steverson pulls up from deep. Are you kidding?
Oh, he's going to go up with it. No good. Too strong. Loose ball. Going to get kicked right into the hands of Jackson. Here comes Mitchell. Mitchell puts that one in. A little bit of a baby dunk, but
Drive, looking to spin. Blocked from behind by Creighton Johnson. 3-on-2 for Sandia. Thomas Adams goes all the way
and he's fouled.
Look out, layup.
Lund
There
in
we
transition,
go.
get out the phone, slam dunk, David Lund.
Dyer is going to get that one absolutely sent back.
A floater from 5 feet, stolen away, Steverson, here comes the money, dunk.
Three, and that could be a dangerous thing for El Dorados. That's just going to be stolen by Chavez, and he's going to put that one down.
Pius 30, Highland 26, Lincoln on the inbound. Lincoln gonna try to get to the three-point line. He steps back, puts up the three. Yes! At the buzzer, Jesus Lincoln. McConnell stops his dribble under 5 seconds, stolen away by Hernandez. Hornets on the move. Hernandez gonna get the shot up, and it goes at the buzzer. Back-to-back buzzer beaters for Highlands.
Looking to find some space, he does, puts it up with the right hand, no, Steverson.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
On Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our special guest today is Bosque Prep Bobcats head boys basketball coach Clifton Davidson. And Coach, it's been great having you on the program. And you're just another coach that, you talk basketball, there's an immediate bond. People that I know, and I know people that you know, and we go back, I go back in this game, man, since high school at Highland. I went to Pius one year, Highland, and then so I've got a lot of contacts. You do too. Your Bobcats 19-7 and 8-0, the district champions beating Sandia Prep, and you got to go through the district tournament. You had a great season, and I do want to mention, and I said I would mention this. Your JV under Aaron Griffith, the former Bernalillo star. That Aaron is I've noticed. I told you his dad Chuck and I are boyhood friends since we were 3 years old, and his wife Judy, and God, they're great people, man. They're very, very dear friends of mine. But Aaron, talk a little bit about his influence there on the Bosque. He's a quiet kid. He's a quiet kid, but that kid knows his basketball, man. He does.
He was. I would say he was a quiet kid, and I think
right?
In this last year, man, I think he's really blossomed into a really fantastic basketball coach and a leader and somebody that those JV guys and even our varsity guys and us as coaches can trust and can follow. He's a heck of a scout. He does a really great job in evaluating other teams. And I tell people all the time, Aaron takes the offense and the things that we work on at Bosque, and then he makes them better for his team. So even yesterday at practice, we're implementing things that he has modified, that he's taken from us and modified to his JV level guys. And we're implementing those on our varsity basketball team because he just does a great job. And our JV team was really made up of mostly 8th graders and freshmen. And we had a couple sophomores on there and I think 2 juniors on there. But mostly the guys who played were 8th graders and freshmen. And for him to have those guys so locked in and confident and ready to play is just a testament to how good of a coach he really is.
He really, again, raised by, 2 fabulous people, like very, very good friends of mine. Chuck and I go back to watching the old Batman. Now, you wouldn't remember that, man. With Adam West.
Adam West Batman, yeah.
Far Chuck and I go back. I want to talk about your roster this year. You're 19-7, 8-0, perfect district record. That's tough to do. It's tough. District grinds are tough. Leo Detweiler averages 6.6. Jordan Pruitt has 13 threes, 3.2 points per game. Kyle Morris at 16.2, 3.5 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists per game. I thought that's pretty impressive. Cooper Houtow, 14 points a game and 8 rebounds. That's pulling down some glass right there, man. Josiah Wilson has 42 threes and averages 8.7 points per game. Talk a little bit about your roster offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I mean these guys are special. Outside of just the basketball, the way that they get along with each other, the way that they trust each other, and just work together. And our older guys, our seniors, Kyle, Leo, and Cooper, the way they've accepted and incorporated these younger guys and bring them in is just a really special season. And I tell you, Ed, regardless of whether we win the championship or not, this has just been a very special year with these young men and the way that they are and the way that they treat each other. Cooper and Kyle are definitely our leaders on the offensive side of the ball. They have been guys in the past and even now they could each, and we've had this where they each go for 30 points a game. And unfortunately, we've lost those games. So I think that they have come to understand that even though they're seniors and they have great ability to play this game and to score the basketball, that it's really, really important for everybody on the team to be involved. And they have sacrificed their own scoring for the team benefit, which is a huge testament to their maturity. Leo Detweiler is the same. He is much more involved in passing the ball and moving the ball and creating space for others than he is for himself. Josiah Wilson, that kid's a freshman, and his brother is Marcus Wilson, who played for ABC.
Yes, a very good athlete.
Very good athlete. So he's going to play Division I basketball next year. Josiah's a freshman. He's a starter on our team, and he's averaging 10 points a game in district, playing really, really well for us. And our situation and confidence in our team kind of changed when he was added into that starting lineup because of that. Oliver Tumalo is another kid. He doesn't have all the stats that some of the other guys have on the team, but he's an all-district player this year, and he's a kid that we can put on the other team's best player, regardless of size. 6'3" kid, can move, soccer player. That's his primary sport is soccer.
Hey, you know what? That helps a lot.
Yeah.
That athleticism on the soccer field, you bet.
Yeah, and he just understands the game at a very high level, and he can do some things. And he's also our emotional leader and vocal leader out on the basketball court. So we have some really good players, and we have some young players who are stepping up really big, such as Jordan and Alex. And they're, just really, really good kids that it's hard to put into words who they are and how they are, but just an amazing bunch of kids. And if we weren't playing another game of basketball with them, it will still be one of the best seasons I've ever coached.
You know what? That says a lot because not every season, you know what it's like to hoist the blue trophy, man. And running down that ramp. I did that once as a as a senior in the All-Star game. You never forget that, ever,
No.
never. I came down as official Ref Hobbs Clovis Championship in 2001. 14,000 people, man. I never ran as fast, before. Never ran that fast ever again. All adrenaline, right? Adrenaline. So I think it's a great, experience, and you definitely want to get there. Coach, you mentioned, we checked your schedule at the last part of the year, and talk about a little bit about the district grind. It's tough to go undefeated in district. It really is. And, you managed to do that, again, beating Sandia Prep. You played Robertson. Robertson, they're one of the top teams. We mentioned Mateo Contreras, Coach James Branch, one of the better coaches in the class for sure. So, but, you beat Sandia Prep twice, and then, you beat them at the end of the year. Talk a little bit about the district grind, because it's a tough district, and go undefeated in district, it isn't easy. It really isn't.
No, it isn't. It's the first time that we've done it, and it's the first time that Bosque has won the district since I've been the head coach, actually since I've been coaching in the high school. And so that's, 9 years now, 7 years in, it's the first one that we've been able to get. Cuba kind of ran the district for a little bit there, and then Sandia Prep has dominated us all for the last 5 years or so. So it's been good for our team to get there and to lock in and have a very, very successful district season. We haven't had any of those lapses that you may typically have, having played a team once or twice or three times. They've really been able to stay locked in on what we're trying to accomplish and what our goals are. And that first goal was to be regular season district champs. And so to do that at Sandia Prep when they could have beaten us and tied the district and forced a playoff game, for our guys to come out and play as well as they did was really exciting to see at this stage in the year, and show how they're still locked in on all of our goals.
Especially against the Damian Segura coach team. It's kind of funny, the handoff there, because Marcos Rivera was Damian's assistant at St. Pius, then Damian's his assistant, right? And then Coach Rivera goes to Cleveland, and Coach Segura takes over at Sandia Prep.
At Sandia Prep, yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of a funny transition there, because I remember when they coached at St. Pius together, there was many times Coach Segura used to have to tell Coach Rivera, sit down, because Coach Rivera, Coach Rivera, and that's much respect.
It's his job. It's his job, even if it's not his job.
I love Coach Rivera. I love that guy. Got the fire, right? Heck of a good coach, and a heck of an athlete back in the day himself, a soccer player, a star soccer player, and a star basketball player at Pewaukee, man. He was a heck of I think it was Pewaukee. I hope it was. I think it was. It might not have been, but he was a star anyway. Coach, going forward, you got about a minute left. What's it going to take the Bobcats to go through the district tournament, get where you want to be? It's a tough class. You've got some tough teams that you'll be facing. What's going to take for the Bobcats to get to that ultimate goal?
I think it's always the same, right? You need a little bit of luck. You got to stay healthy. I think we have the talent, we have the skills, and the kids in the right positions that can bring home the blue trophy. And we're going to have to just stay locked in as a team, stay locked in as a unit, and continue to trust each other as we have all year, and beat some very, very good teams. Robertson and Navajo Prep, St. Mike's, Santa Fe Indian are all at the top of that. Hot Springs is always right there, and I anticipate having to play them in the second round. There we were both successful in the first. So we're going to have to be on top of it, and we're playing some of our best basketball right now.
One game at a time. We always say that, right? Can't look ahead. Look at the Lobos on Saturday, looking, past the Air Force. They got punched in the face, man.
Exactly.
So you got.
We got knocked out first round last year as a 6th seed at home. Got knocked out first round. So we understand what that feels like, and we're not doing that again this year.
Coach Clifton Davidson, Bosque Prep Bobcats boys head basketball coach, thank you so much for joining us on the Sports Desk. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming state tournament.
Thank you, Ed, and thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. You have a great day.
For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk. Hey, great job, Coach. Man, that was awesome.
Hey, thank you.